Today I'm going to be sharing with you what I ate in a day. So let's get started. Hi, Debbie Chu here from Chew on Vegan, and welcome back to my kitchen. Today's going to be another what I ate in a day, and my oven decided to die on me, so the stovetop still works. So the recipes I'm making today are going to be using the stovetop, and I'm going to be using my air fryer since I don't have an oven. So if you're new here, I'm a plant-based RN, and I follow a whole food, plant-based, no oil way of eating. So if that sounds good to you, please subscribe, hit that notification bell, be sure to follow me on Instagram, and be sure to check out the links below on all the resources that I offer. All right, let's get started on these 3 recipes today. So the first thing I'm going to be showing you is my vegan egg bites. Now I normally bake these in the oven, but I don't have an oven, so today I'm going to make them in my egg poacher. So you can make these in the oven, just put them in a muffin tin, but I'm going to show you how you can do these on the stovetop with your egg poacher. So first let me show you the ingredients. So everything's going to go into my bullet. If you have a Vitamix, you can use that as well. And we're going to be using split yellow mung beans. And mung beans is what they use in the Just Egg product. But this one's so much healthier for you. There's very low fat and just all whole ingredients. So I soaked a half a cup of the mung beans overnight. Just cover them in water and leave them overnight. I drain them, I rinse them. So those are going to go into my bullet. To this, I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of plant milk. This is soy milk. I'm going to use a 1/4 cup of aqua faba, which is the juice from the chickpeas. And then I've got all kinds of spices in here. I've got nutritional yeast, I've got salt, I have onion powder, garlic powder, turmeric, and a little baking powder. And we're just going to throw that all in. All right, I'm just going to go blend this up, and I'll show you what we do next. Then I like to add some veggies to this, and I also want to add a little bit of the black salt, which gives it that eggy flavor. And this is just personal preference. You might want a lot of that flavor or just a little bit. I just like a little bit. So that's about how much I'm going to be putting in there. Then I wanted to show you my vegetable chopper, because I'm going to be putting onions and bell peppers in there. And this thing is so great. Done. And you get these perfectly little uniformed bits of your veggies. So these are going to go in here as well. And then I'm going to add some spinach. All right, I'm going to add the veggies in, and then I'm going to meet you over at the stove, and I'll show you how easy these come together. All right, so I have my egg poacher already heating up, and then I'm going to just pour the mixture in here. And this is just such a great breakfast, especially on the weekend. It's kind of fun. And I can take these to work as well. All right, we're going to put the lid on, and we'll let these cook. You don't want to overcook them, or they will be very tough and dry. So keep an eye on them, don't walk away. I took one out to test it, and it was about 7 minutes. And that's how you want it to look. Okay, here we go. This is the finished product. This recipe makes about 7, and you can just see they're just like these little bundle of goodness. I mean, this would be a really nice Eggs Benedict on some English muffin, or just some gluten-free bread, whatever you need to do. So I'm going to give these a taste, and I'm just going to pick them up and take a bite, and I'll show you. These came out perfect. I don't know if you can see that. They're not dried out. They're still a little bit moist. The veggies are cooked perfect. They're a little crispy, a little al dente, but just perfect. So I'm going to go enjoy my breakfast, and I'll see you back here at lunch. So for lunch, I'm going to make chickpea noodle soup, And I also want to make the soup because I want to have some to take to work for lunch this week. I'm going to add some red lentils to the soup. The red lentils will give it a little bit more substance, and I just like a little bit extra fiber. So I'm going to add those in along with the chickpeas. So to start off, I've got some water heating up, a bunch of veggies. I've got onions, I have celery, I have carrots, and I have a little bit of zucchini. I don't normally put zucchini in, but why not? I had some that was getting ready to go bad, so I'll throw those in. Then we're just going to cook this for about 5-7 minutes at the most, let them get softened, and then we'll add the rest of the ingredients. And I will leave exact measurements in the description box for this recipe. Okay, now we're going to add some minced garlic and some spices. I'm adding in 2 teaspoons of minced garlic and my spices, which is salt, onion powder, garlic powder, Italian seasoning. I will leave all the measurements and the names of everything in the description box. And we're going to let this cook for about a minute or 2. And I use my chopper for the veggies, and look how pretty they are. They're all uniform. It's perfect for soup. They'll all fit on your soup spoon when you're eating. Now I'm going to add the lentils and some water. I added about 7 cups of water, and then I'm going to add a couple of my no chicken bouillon cubes. If you would prefer, you could use 7 cups of veggie stock if you don't want to use the bouillon cubes, or if you don't have them. Okay, I'm going to let these come to a boil, and then I'm going to let these simmer for about 10 minutes because I want the lentils to cook a little bit, and then I'll add the pasta and the chickpeas. Okay, now we're going to add the pasta. This is 2 cups of gluten-free and 1 can rinsed and drained chickpeas. Now we'll let this cook for about 10 minutes. If you want the pasta al dente, if you want it a little softer, then I would do 12 minutes. Then the last minute of cooking, I'm just going to add a handful of spinach. A big handful. All right, I think we'll be ready to taste in just a minute. So here we go, finished product, super hot. Now the red lentils just give the broth a little bit more thickness, not a lot, just a little bit, which I prefer. If you like the thinner broth, then just leave the red lentils out. Let's give this a taste. It's so hearty. It's perfect. I'm just putting that spinach in there, gives it that extra greens. It just looks so pretty too. All right, I'm gonna go enjoy this, and then I'm gonna see you at dinner, and I'm gonna make a pizza, and I'm gonna make it in a different way, so make sure you stick around for that. So for my air fryer pizza, I just had this pizza dough in my freezer. It's gluten-free, and I just had it at another time, froze half of it. And you want to defrost your dough if it's been in the freezer, and you want it to come to room temperature. You don't ever want your dough cold. I'll leave the recipe for this dough in the description box, but you can use whatever kind of dough you want. If you want to use a store-bought, that's fine. It needs to be about this size, and you're just going to press it out, you know, to a round shape here as best you can on some parchment paper. And this is just going to go directly into your air fryer. And you probably want it 1/4 inch thick. Yeah. Make like a little border, like a little crust. And this is just like an individual size pizza. All right. Now I'm just going to put some sauce on here. Again, any kind of sauce you want. This, I basically just used tomato paste and some seasonings and a little water. Put some red pepper flakes in there. Made it very simple. And I like to put a little bit of this pizza seasoning on here. Like that. And then I'm going to put a little bit of my plant-based cheese sauce on here. You could do no cheese if you want, but just a little bit. That wasn't a very graceful dollop. And I'll put some on the top too. I just like a little bit on the bottom and on the top. Okay. Boy, I am making a mess. All right, and then I like to put broccoli on my pizza, because why not? And then I have some olives and some onions and some bell peppers, and I use my chopper again. Let's look at that. Makes these cool, small little cubes of veggies. And you know, toppings are up to you. You want to do mushrooms? If you want to leave stuff off, you just do whatever you would like. Okay. Now, I preheat my air fryer for 1 minute at 400, and then I will cook it for 5 minutes. And then I will drizzle a little bit more of my plant-based cheese sauce on here. Now the important thing to remember is you do not want to cook it any longer than 5 minutes. Otherwise the crust is just going to get really hard. It's not going to be super crispy on the bottom. It will be on the top. It'll be beautiful. If you do want it crispy, you can just put it in a frying pan on top of the stove and crisp up the bottom, or you can just make this whole thing in the oven. I'm just using the air fryer today because 1, my oven's no longer working, and 2, it's just fun and it's quick. So I'm going to throw this into my air fryer and let it go for 5 minutes, and then I'll show you the finished product. So as you can see, it's going to be soft. It's not going to be a super crispy. And just remember, or just know, that gluten-free crust is not really brown, so if you use regular crust, it will brown perfectly. But it will taste delicious, and it will be totally done. And there you have it, a perfect little mini pizza for yourself. All right, let's give it a taste. So here we go, finished product, yummy. Okay, I just had to take a quick picture, so I'm back. Finished product, and let's give it a taste. Delicious. I love all those veggies on there, and I love that I use my chopper, and they're all nice bite-sized little pieces. It's perfect. So the cool thing about today is I made some recipes. I had breakfast, I had lunch, I had dinner, and I also had a little food prep in there too, because some of that stuff I'm going to eat during the week, take it to work with me. So it was a win-win. So I hope you liked this video. I hope you learned something. If you did, please give it a like and share it with your friends. And be sure to check out all the resources that I have in the description box. I have a newsletter, I have a Facebook group, and I have a free e-guide. I also have an online digital course to help you with maintaining and becoming consistent with a whole food plant-based lifestyle. All my recipes are good for you, they're good for the animals, and they're good for the planet, and what you put on your plate determines your fate and your weight. Until next time, thank you. So today I'm going to be doing let's get situated.